Question for you: what should be on the ballot in Albuquerque's next municipal election? That question continues to draw headlines this Monday morning and will continue to be the center of discussion and debate in the metro today.
That's because today the Bernalillo County Commission will decide whether to put two questions before voters. Should the county impose a new gross receipts tax to fund mental health services? This is basically an 0.1% sales tax hike. And should penalties be reduced for possession of having less than an ounce of marijuana? Both would poll voters' opinions, but are not legally binding. Now, this all heated up and got real interesting and partisan this weekend. Saturday, a Republican county commissioner questioned if the state's constitution allows poll questions on ballots. Then on Sunday, a Democrat commissioner responded saying the county has the attorney general's approval. Two county commissioners are backing a new resolution to put the issues of decriminalizing pot possession and a sales tax hike on the November ballot, but only as opinion questions. These would not affect any rules or laws. Well, Saturday, Republican Commissioner Wayne Johnson called on the Secretary of State to, quote, enforce the New Mexico Constitution regarding public opinion questions being put on general election ballots. Commissioner Johnson is crying at partisan politics, saying the poll questions could be only to increase voter turnout among liberals. Commissioner Maggie Hart-Stebbins says the AG says the county has the authority to put the questions on the ballot, and Ms. Stebbins adds getting more voters to the polls, liberal or conservative, should be considered a good thing.
We are giving voters the opportunity to tell all elected officials in this community yes or no. Should we fund the gaps in our behavioral health care system, provide appropriate treatment rather than jail, or continue on our current path?
We'll let you know what the county commission decides and if other issues from Albuquerque City Council will make it onto the ballot, provided, of course, there is enough room, which has been the question for the last couple of weeks. Liz?
Well, after paying out more than $10 million because of overcrowding at the Metro Detention Center, Bernalillo County taxpayers could now be on the hook again. It's because of a request from the feds to keep inmates locked up while ICE checks their immigration status.
They're not a valid basis to hold somebody in jail.
Ryan Villa is representing a number of past MDC inmates who he says were held an additional 48 hours after a judge released them or they posted bail while their immigration status was being checked. It's a process known as ICE holds.
Just that they're requests only. So there isn't a legal basis to detain them in the detention center.
Jails across the country have stopped the practice because of federal court rulings against it. MDC changed its policy in July and stopped ICE holds, but the practice was in place for years. From January through July this year, more than 300 people were put on ICE holds, according to MDC. And there is no telling at this point just how many could be represented in this potential lawsuit.
Well, the Albuquerque Police Department is under scrutiny this morning for looking through Mary Hawks' cell phone. She is a suspected car thief who was shot and killed by an APD officer on Zuni earlier this year. Now, according to the Albuquerque Journal, attorneys are calling for the search of Hawks' cell phone without a warrant unconstitutional. The phone was found in a stolen truck. The attorneys say the officers used information from Hawks' phone to track her down in April. Soon after, Officer Jeremy Deere went after Hawks, suspecting she stole the truck. He claims Hawks pulled a gun on him. Officer Deere then fired his gun, killing her. A spokesperson for the police department says it has no policies on searching cell phones, but Internal Affairs is looking into it. Well, a man wanted for questioning in a suspected homicide in Oklahoma is in a hospital in Gallup this morning after a bizarre road rage incident. Amanda Cecil's body was found in her home in Chickasaw, Oklahoma, Friday. She lived with Lofton Gray Jr., but before investigators could talk with Mr. Gray, he took off. Then Saturday night, New Mexico State Police were called to a road rage incident in Gallup. Police say Gray threw a crowbar at another driver, then the driver hit him with his car. New Mexico police say Gray will be charged for the stolen car after he is out of jail. Well, and in Metro Court yesterday, the accused shooter in another recent road rage incident, this one out of Albuquerque, faced a judge. This happened Thursday at a Home Depot store in Montano and I-25. Police say a fight between two drivers escalated when one of the men got out of the car with a gun. Police say the man with the gun was Jack Hill. They say the second driver ran over Hill, and at some point a shot went off. Police are trying to track down the other driver. who was in a Ford pickup truck, possibly purple.
A couple accused of doing drugs in front of their kids appeared in court over the weekend.
I think you should take this complaint very seriously. I'm very disturbed by what's being alleged.
All right, well, here's what we can tell you. The mother went in front of a judge on Saturday. The father went before a judge yesterday. A 6-year-old boy walked alone and barefoot in northwest Albuquerque. He was spotted by deputies. He told them, according to cops, that he was on his way to buy food for his brother and that he lived in a motel. There, officers found his parents and siblings in a room. They say they also found about 100 used needles scattered through the room. Deputies say the boy's mother, Tracy Montoya Herrera, was shooting heroin. She and Dominic Montoya were arrested facing multiple charges, including child abuse. In the wake of several high-profile child neglect cases, the state has just opened up a child advocacy center in Los Lunas. It puts police, CYFD, and the support groups all in the same building, and it is now open for business.
A center like this, which locates law enforcement and treatment professionals and service providers all in one building, is something that minimizes the trauma that child feels, and that is a goal worth pursuing.
Sparked by several abuse cases, such as Omari Varela, the boy, cops say, was kicked to death by his mother. Governor Susana Martinez signed an executive order in April establishing the Child Advocacy Center. Now officials call the building a safe house for victims. They hope to add more of these centers around the state. Valencia County is one of the areas that needs more child welfare services. Albuquerque does have something similar. It's the Family Advocacy Center.